Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Catching Up with the Backs. Today, our guest is currently a forward with the Indy Fuel in the ECHL. He played 2 seasons as a Silverback from 2014 to 2016, and then headed to Canisius College for 4 years. Please welcome Nick Hutchison. Nick, thanks for joining me. How are you doing today?
Good, Nate. Thanks for having me. Happy to be on.
Very happy to have you on to chat about, of course, your 2 seasons here in Salmon Arm. We're also going to talk about, of course, your time in the NCAA, as mentioned, with Canisius. And then signing and playing right now when some people aren't playing. You've been able to play in the ECHL. First, though, I just want you to tell us where you're coming at us from. Where are you at the moment? And what has your past week been like?
Yeah, well, I'm currently in Indiana right now. I got here probably 2 weeks ago or so. And last weekend had 4 games in 5 nights and got right in the swing of it. It was good. You know, like I said, I didn't have to wait very long to practice or anything, just thrown right into games. So it was a good start so far.
Awesome. So we'll talk about how you got, of course, how you signed that contract. We'll keep that to the end. We'll start when you were younger, before you joined the Silverbacks. I just want to go way back. You grew up in Hicksville, New York on Long Island. Before the USHL, which you played in before the Silverbacks, you went to prep school. So I just want to know, Avon Old Farms, you went there for 1 season. The decision for you and your family to kind of send you to prep school there, what kind of factors went into that? Why did you go there before playing junior? Right after U16, my team kind of separated and guys were going to different places. And there was a couple of guys from my team in Long Island that were thinking of going the prep school route. And obviously there's a lot of history of guys going to prep school and having good careers there and moving on to college and pro. So I don't think it was a hard process for me, as Avon is a great history. Guys like Brian Leach, Benino, Cam Atkinson, John the Quick. There's a list. There's a very long list of guys who go there and have good long careers. So I think it was a good step for me to go there. I mean, obviously I was only there for 1 season, but I enjoyed every second of it. So growing up on Long Island, and you mentioned like Brian Leach, where was your NHL allegiance growing up on Long Island?
Well, my mom grew up in New York City, so she was a diehard Rangers fan. So pretty much from the first day I could, put on skates, I was a Rangers fan my whole life.
After your season at Avon, you did go to the USHL, played for the Tri-City Storm. How did that kind of come about, and why did you make that decision?
Well, I got drafted to Tri-City after Avon, so it was good to obviously as a competitor you want to play the best league against the best players, and I had a choice to either go back to Avon, graduate there, or go to Tri-City, and I just wanted to play the best competition, and it didn't work out for me there, but there was a coaching change, and I still think I was probably a little bit too young to go out there. I wasn't matured and physically to play in that. It was pretty much pro hockey right away. So it was a good experience for me. Obviously, there's a lot of good guys to go to that league and have long NHL careers. So it was it's definitely a learning experience for me, but I'm happy the way everything has worked out so far.
Yeah, can you talk me through that summer then, though, committing to the Silverbacks? How did that kind of come about?
Well, I was actually playing in a summer tournament in Boston, and there was a scout there, Chris O'Donnell. He was working for the Silverbacks, and he just reached out to me. He was like, hey, listen, if something happens with Tri-City, or if it doesn't work out, the Salmon Arm Silverbacks are interested. And honestly, I didn't really know what the BCHL was at that time, so I was like, sure, thanks for your information, your time, but I'm going to go and try and make Tri-City again, and just fell into a place where I didn't make Tri-City, and honestly really wasn't going to play hockey anymore. And then talked to Chris O'Donnell and then Troy Mick, and they made it pretty convincing for me to go out there. And obviously I've loved my time in Salmon Arm.
Do you know maybe at the time what it was about? Like, how did they convince you? I'm just curious if like the BCHL. Nowadays, and maybe it's changed, like prep school, there are quite a few prep school guys who do come out to the BCHL now. Do you know what it was that convinced you to come out?
I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is Troy made it pretty, obvious that he was going to treat me more as a person than a hockey player. And obviously going through the USHL, it is a business. Even though they want guys, they want to develop guys. I learned right away that, if you don't perform well or something doesn't happen, it's the next man up. And I felt really comfortable with how Troy was going to treat me. And it just obviously led to me having 2 good years in Salmon Arm. And I still talk to Troy quite a bit. And just the relationship was probably the biggest thing for me.
Awesome. Now, there were some injuries, of course, in your 2 seasons as a Silverback, but you got off to a great start. I was looking 5 points in your first 5 games, it looks like. The transition, what do you think kind of contributed to right off the hop? You were flying right away.
Yeah, well, I remember I walked in the first day, and then there was Bryden Marsh and Shane Daniluk, and there was a couple other WHL guys. I go, what did I get myself into? Because obviously, being in, on the East Coast, you hear about, guys playing the WHL and go play in the NHL the year after or so. And I'm like, I can't believe, what am I getting myself into? But like I said, I feel like just the relationship I had with Troy Mick, Brendan West, and Mishko, they gave me every opportunity to be successful, and they believed in me from day one. And I think that was the biggest attribute to me having, a hot start in Salmon Arm.
Some of your teammates that year, like your first year, a lot of offensive weapons, probably a lot of fun guys to play with. What stands out in terms of skill? Were there any teammates who stood out with their skill, or just playing with those guys? How fun was it to be on an offensive team?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, pretty much you go up and down that lineup. It was a special group of guys. Obviously Taro. I was off to a good start. I mean, we have Angus. He was probably the best goalie of the 2 years that I was in the BCHL. You just pick any guy in that list, and he could contribute offensively pretty much any way. So it was honestly, it was easy to just step right in, and passes were all on the tape. Everything was, the game kind of slowed down a little bit, which was great.
I've asked other guys from that team, like Taro and Chase Prisky and Angus Redmond, about the final game in the regular season, where it came down to that final game. You played Penticton to try and make the playoffs. It went to overtime. It was tight. I just want to know, though, what you remember about that race to the playoffs and that final game, how exciting it was.
Well, I mean, that first year was kind of tough for me. Obviously, I got off to a hot start, and then I ended up breaking my ankle. So I got to see it from the other side of the glass, which was, obviously I was really proud of the group. I mean, we had a bunch of injuries, and they never gave up, and they always kept pushing. And I just remember I tried to give everything I could to get back in the lineup whenever I was able to, and just, it was a great time. The Shaw Center was buzzing every weekend. It was a great time. It was just a nice streak, and obviously we came up a little bit short against Penticton that last game, but just, I was able to come back for probably the last month and a bit, and I was able to get back in the lineup, and it was pretty special run we had.
Now, your second season, you were over a point per game. I know you only played 37 games, but still, 42 points. Was there a part of your game that maybe you felt more comfortable with, or you thought improved from year 1 to year 2?
Well, I had a lot of time in the off season to get back to feeling like myself again. Obviously, I kind of rushed to get back in the lineup. Like I mentioned, just the run we were going on, I did everything I possibly could to get back. But I really took this summer to really work on my body in the gym and get back on the ice to really feeling like myself. And I think that really attributed to me having, the success I did in my second year.
You talked about the coaching staff and the trust, but with Troy and with Brandon and Mishko, were there parts of your game that they specifically maybe really, really helped with during your time here?
Well, Mishko definitely whipped me into shape quite a bit. He helped me out a lot when I was coming back from injury, but I think they allowed me to just really play offensively, and in the USHL there's a little bit more structure and if I had to follow more systems. And obviously, I was a rookie there, so I really wasn't a top guy right away and getting a lot of minutes. And I think they just allowed me to, like I said, just play within their system and use my offensive skills to be successful.
Can you tell me how the scholarship to Canisius, when did that happen and how did it happen?
Well, it happened during I think it was beginning of the season in the second year, and I was committed to Northeastern, and that fell through after my first year in Salmon Arm, and then so I was just kind of looking for the best opportunity to go in right away and play games and help a team right from the start. And I had a couple buddies who were at Canisius at the time, and I was talking to a few other schools, but just for some reason, Canisius, felt like the right fit for me and my family. And obviously, I couldn't have been more happy that I played 4 years at Canisius.
Now, is there something about the BCHL, the way that it is, the league, the fast-paced, whatever it is, that really helped prepare you for the NCAA?
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head. Like, the speed is unbelievable. I think those 2 years in the BCHL were awesome for me. Just being a bigger guy and getting used to a couple smaller guys who are quicker, faster, and I think it's definitely contributed to me even pro here. We talk about it every day. It's speed. If you're not fast, if you don't think fast, you're going to be a step behind someone. And I definitely think that has helped me get to where I am right now.
Now, you mentioned earlier about the atmosphere sometimes here in the Shaw Center. Is there anything else that stands out with the fans and playing in the community of Salmon Arm? Any memories that stand out to you?
Yeah, it was awesome. Every weekend, it seemed like the place was just packed. People were loving us. Everywhere you go, hey, good game, good weekend, keep it up. They traveled to pretty much all our games for the most part. I remember there was a bus, a group of older people that have been following the team, and I think they still talk to my parents every once in a while. But yeah, it was the atmosphere was great, and I don't remember the name of the diner, but in my first year, when I broke my ankle, I was on crutches for pretty much a good amount of time, and I would always go to this diner on game day to have the same meal, same time, same seat, and they named the meal the Hutch Crutch. So it was just that, like, they made me feel so comfortable, and the complete support from the community was unbelievable.
That is
I'll
awesome.
I'll never forget that. It was on the menu for weeks, the Hutch Crutch.
Oh my gosh. What was it?
It was 3 scrambled eggs, a couple pancakes, and a couple of home fries, I think it was back in the day. Yeah.
Nice. Oh, that is awesome. Teammates, Salmon Arm teammates from those 2 years, are there any specific guys who maybe you still keep in touch with often?
I try to talk to as many guys as possible. Those are the 2 best years I really had playing hockey, and just the group. I talked to Chase Prisky quite a bit, Angus, Carson, played against Taylor Maruya and Elijah Barriga quite a bit. Just the guys for those 2 years were unbelievable. Like I said, coming from the USHL and the East Coast, I really didn't know too much about where Salmon Arm even was or what was in British Columbia. And the guys always made me feel comfortable no matter what. And those guys are, I had the best memories were off the ice with those guys. So
your first season then at Canisius, how would you kind of describe that first season for you and the transition maybe?
I think it was not easy, but I think I felt comfortable pretty soon just from playing in Salmon Arm. We had a system that was speed and offensively, and it kind of just rolled into Canisius, and it was a pretty good first year for me. I had a lot of good teammates that I played with there, and it was a pretty smooth transition for me. You were 24 points, named to the Atlantic Hockey All-Rookie team. How cool was that to kind of get recognized? It was awesome. Obviously, my teammates who I was playing with are throughout the year helped me out a lot. I mean, our group was pretty young, which I think was good for us. We had young legs throughout the whole year, and we made a really good push. I mean, I think we won the regular season too. I think it was the first time in Canisius history that happened. So yeah, the group was awesome, and obviously it's nice to get recognized for your hard work and your effort.
You mentioned finishing first, so that's on the ice, and I'll talk about the seasons in a little bit, but I'm curious off the ice as well. Campus life, the facilities, what kind of was it like to get acclimated to school again?
It was a tough first semester. I will give you that much. But I definitely learned how to, use my time properly and make sure I was doing all the things off the ice with school to, be successful not only on the ice but off the ice as well. And I mean, I loved my 4 years at Canisius. I think the groups we had each year were unbelievable, and I think that wherever you go, big school, little school, if the guys you're with every day don't, try to make the best out of everything, it's not going to be as fun. I mean, like I said, I felt like Buffalo was the right fit for me, and I'll never forget my 4 years there.
What did you study?
Sports management.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been in sports my whole life. It's something that I would love to keep doing. Obviously, I would love to play for as long as I could, but at some point that time's going to run out, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome. Now, your first season with Canisius was, when I looked it up, head coach Dave Smith. That was his last year with the program before going to RPI. Is there anything that you learned specifically maybe from Dave Smith in the one season when he was your head coach?
He definitely made me think a lot more than I wanted to. He was always keeping you on your toes and making sure you were always thinking about the game. And I mean, Dave was great for me. I played a good amount my freshman year, and I mean, I felt comfortable with our relationship. I mean, I know he had trust in me, and I had trust in him, and I think that was the biggest thing for my start of my success at Canisius.
And then Trevor Large moved from assistant to head coach. What was your relationship like with head coach Trevor Large?
I think my relationship was great with Trevor. Trevor was actually the guy who recruited me to Canisius, so it was nice to have him behind the bench there. And yeah, I think Trevor grew each year as a head coach, and I think he's going to lead Canisius for a great number of years here, and he's hopefully we're going to win an Atlantic Hockey League championship pretty soon.
Off ice, academics. You were, I asked about the initial transition, but you were on the all academic team 3 years, your second, third, and fourth year as well. So you talk about that balance. Did it just get more comfortable over time, or how do you think you were able to manage the academics with the hockey?
I mean, I definitely got comfortable. I mean, I used the sources that I had through the school as much as I could, and just kind of getting used to that, practice, getting to the library, getting to study hours, making sure, have to take care of certain things before you want to go hang out with your buddies and enjoy the other part of college. And yeah, I think it just it was an easy transition after getting used to it. I just buckled down and made sure I was doing everything the right way.
Your senior season on the ice, another honor, second all-conference team in Atlantic hockey. What did that mean to you? I mean, as a rookie is one thing, but this is probably in your final year to get recognized, probably felt a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a huge honor to, be one of the selected guys throughout the league that coaches, players, don't want to play against. But, obviously playing with Matt Hoover and Matt Steve, two other guys who got recognized for the same team. I think we shown everybody that with hard work and coming to practice every day, that if you want something, it's very attainable.
Now, when you look back at your 4 years at Canisius, what do you think you might remember the most? What might stand out to you?
The off ice again. Just I really loved at least my class, and the class above us, and I mean every class that we pretty much had there. The guys were awesome. I mean, obviously I remember some stuff on the ice, but I had the most fun off the ice with these guys, and yeah, the memories we have are unbelievable.
Right after your senior year, you were able to sign in the ECHL with the Adirondack Thunder. You played in a game right away. You scored in that game. Can you take me through the goal and what it was like to score in your first pro game?
Yeah, it was. It was nice to get it out of the way. I think I shot it with my 60-degree wedge and kind of got over the goalie. But yeah, obviously I had a really good first game with Adirondack. I practiced one day before playing, so it was good to, like I said, get back into the game right away. And yeah, it was awesome to get the first one.
COVID, I guess, ended up shutting things down. So what did you do then? Did you go home, and where did you spend the summer and the fall?
Well, I was only in Adirondack for like 4 days maybe. So as soon as the season ended, I actually stayed in like the Saratoga area for a little bit, stayed the summer there, and then I went back home a couple months later, and then I was able to skate and train and just stay ready for whenever the next opportunity was going to be.
And the next opportunity, the Indy Fuel, who off the top you talked about, you just played 4 games in 5 days, but talk about getting that opportunity, what it kind of felt like after months and months of, not being able to do much, and now you're playing hockey again.
Relief. It was, obviously it's a crazy time for everybody. I'm honored and really happy to be here that, the coach thought I was, a good enough player to come help the team. I got lucky, honestly. Almost feels like I picked out of a hat. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to be in Indy. The team's doing great right now, and hoping to stick around here a lot longer, and we'll see what happens.
Now, the 4 games in 5 days that you just played, just want to know, I guess, first off, where were you? Because I guess ECHL, sometimes there's long road trips. Where were the games? And with COVID, how different are things? And I know there's lots of rescheduling of games, but in terms of your normal routines, are there routines that are now different?
Well, we were in Tulsa for 3 games, then we went to Wichita. I forget what day we left. All the days just get bunched together when you're playing. But yeah, so it was like 11-hour road trip to Tulsa. On the bus, we were wearing masks. We're doing everything properly to make sure that guys are safe, and we're trying to keep everyone healthy to play on the weekends. And it's a little weird. In college, they give you a set schedule from you got to be here, here, and here. Where in pro is, if you're there before the 5:30 meeting, 5 o'clock, you're no one really cares. Like, you're on your own for food, a bunch of Uber Eats, DoorDash. Not going to restaurants, not really seeing this, not leaving your hotel room much. It's a little bit of a change, but I don't mind it. Some guys eat at like noon on the road, which is crazy to me. I don't know how you eat at noon and then play at 7, but yeah, it's a little bit of a change, but yeah, I like it so far.
The curious then, you mentioned Uber Eats, DoorDash. Yeah. Do you have a go-to so far, maybe, that you like to order?
I'm always a chicken parm before a game. I try to different places over the weekend, and some were good and some were not good. Obviously, being in Tulsa and being from New York, the Italian food is probably a little bit different. But yeah, got the job done for sure.
Different, not as good. Lastly, before we get to a couple fan questions from Damien Check, I just want to know, coming from or being part of a big hockey family, your younger brother Connor played for the Penticton Bees and University of Vermont. Now he's with Tri-City in the USHL. You also have a sister playing pro in the NWHL. So I just want to know, kind of growing up, how did you all fall in love with hockey? Who's kind of responsible, do you think, for such a huge hockey family and a love of the game?
I definitely think it's my mom. Once again, she was a huge New York Ranger fan growing up, and I just feel like she always wanted to have kids who played hockey, and we all just fell in love with it. And, I couldn't be more proud of Kaylee and Connor. Kaylee playing in NWHL right now, and I think she scored the other day, far down, great shot. And then Connor too. Played a Penticton, which is okay, I guess. And then, I'm just happy for the way their careers are going, and they've earned everything they've gotten so far, and I can't wait to see what else they do in their career.
Awesome. Okay, so we got 2 questions, both from Czech. So first off, should Salmon Arm put the purple bagger jersey up in the rafters? For those not familiar and maybe who don't quite get that, can we explain a little what he's asking about?
Yeah, so when you're injured, there's a purple jersey. You never want to wear it because Mishko Antison would skate you until you couldn't skate anymore. And obviously in my time, I was injured for both years for a good amount of time. And Mishko and I got to know each other way too much. And there were some days I couldn't even feel my legs. But it definitely helped me, prepare and get back into shape to playing games. And I still talk to Mishko quite a bit. And he helped me a lot in my 2 years there. But I don't know if it should be in the rafters. Hopefully we could just bury it and no one else has to go through a purple bagger.
The second question, did you finally learn how to do your laundry?
Yes, I finally learned. My billets did my laundry for me one time, and obviously Checker was there at the house. We were hanging out, and Checker, he always likes to keep tabs on guys, see what guys are doing. So, but yeah, I've learned to do my own laundry.
There we go. Straight answer.
Yeah.
Simple. That's it for the questions for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and good luck, of course, this season with the Indy Fuel.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.